Yes. Sure, Bob. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. A day late. Obviously, feel bad for the kids. A hard-fought game from last Sunday to where we are today. Had to flip the script pretty quick, and having some guys that were pretty banged up on the way that we played and competed a week ago Saturday to turn it around and play the way they did today. Obviously, just ended up giving up too many plays. Offense did some really good things, but obviously failure probably in the second quarter kind of staled out a little bit, and then defensively the long ball was probably the breaking point. But I thought our guys competed. From a personal standpoint, we focused on the task at hand. I asked our guys just to try to be their greatest. That's all I want them to do. I didn't say any win for me or anything else. Just go out and be as good as humanly possible for the seniors to get a trophy. Give a lot of credit to Missouri. Played a great game and have played well down the stretch, and just kind of summarizes the entire year for us. Just where we're at and moving forward. Obviously, you guys probably heard the news about me, so I was informed coming off the field that no longer be the coach at Arkansas. So. From this point forward, I guess the biggest thing I really take from my experience here is I've always kind of heard and never been let go in my entire life, so this is a first for me. But I've had quite a few coaches that moved on. They always kind of say, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, you want to leave the place better than when you got here, and I know that's happened. There's no doubt. I know we want more wins. I know we all want this, and we were on a steady climb and ran into a speed bump that we just never really able to get back out of. We were on a steady win cycle with 3, and then to go to 6, and then it was 7, and then to 8, and then looked like we could possibly get to 8, 9, 10, and didn't play well down the stretch a year ago. And unfortunately, the things that were brought in front of us this year, I was sitting there watching the Mississippi State game last night, and saw Fitzgerald go down, and really the game was never really the same again. And obviously he was a great player for them, and I was sitting there and, as this thing kind of evolved, we put together things about why we should stay, why we should be allowed to, stay here. And one thing that jumped out, 6 of our top 9, 10 players lost not only for the year but significant time. I'm not going to sit here and say that that's an excuse, but it's reality. When you're at the depth that we got and where we're at, brought to my attention that we had the toughest schedule in the SEC conference during my 5 years of being here. Amen. Somebody's got to be number one or something. Might as well be us. The accomplishments we made from that first team meeting to where we are now, can't say enough about the work of our kids, our support people, all the people that made it possible. I have a group of coaches that has absolutely been awesome. The current ones, some of the ones we've had, all the support staff, all the administration. Jeff was awesome. Julie's been awesome. Chancellor Steinmetz has been awesome. I think the thing that ended up being disappointing for me is just, I think, have like 80% of our roster back offensively, all the yardage we scored and numbers and points that we put up. I think we're in a really good spot for moving forward. I will do anything and everything I can to help Arkansas. I'm a bigger fan of Arkansas now than ever. I know that. I'll work with whoever they end up naming, if they want my help, I'll be here tenfold to help them. And move forward as long as I'm not working someplace else within reason. So, had a chance. I did it. I did obviously everybody's probably like, ooh, they got him right after that. But I'd much rather have it this way than think about it. And I was going on the road recruiting tomorrow, so this kind of sums that up. I did get a chance to say goodbye to at least 80 of those players that are in that locker room. A lot of emotion running through there, and I think that's a great indication of the trademark or the imprint that you've had on their lives. So, and I have enjoyed working with you guys. I mean that with all due respect. I think one of the first things I said when I got here is I don't want to make anybody's job harder. That's just not my personality. I may not agree with you at times. May have said something. Really didn't ever get anything out of the ordinary. But I love people that love their job, and I know you guys love your job and you got jobs to do. So it is what it is. But that's it. Woo Pig. Open up for questions. All day. I'll get out. See you guys.
Bob over here on the left.
Should start with Bob.
Probably let Nate do it. But, Bret, you spoke so positively recently. Did you expect this to happen, or were you holding out hope that you were going to get another year?
Absolutely. They told me to keep working, keep grinding, to keep recruiting. even when Jeff was in his situation, they told me to keep grinding, keep working, and give a lot of credit to our coaches. Had a huge recruiting meeting, and we had a bunch of good recruits in last week, and they had a great weekend. I think they saw the opportunity to get out and play, and that's why I think that you're in a really, really good spot moving forward. I do think that obviously someone will come in with different ideas, thoughts, maybe schemes, but you got a group of players that care. You got a bunch of players that have done a lot of really good things off the field. We took over this program. I believe we were at a 918 APR, and we're at a 988 this past year. I mean, that closest you get is 1,000. So, because I didn't win more games, I can brag about my GPA. But I do think we were on a steady climb, and we hit that bump last year, and we just haven't been able to get out of it. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of factors that go into it, but it's bigger than that moment right now.
Coach?
Yeah.
Any regrets coming to Arkansas with the dream of
I get it. I totally get it. Without a doubt, unequivocally, no. When I made the decision to go, there was a lot of factors that went into it. But one of the biggest factors was to try to do something that I really wanted to do. Chance to move to a new town with a new bride. One of the greatest things that's come out of this is I have a beautiful daughter who forever will be born in Fayetteville. I am better today than I was 5 years ago. I know that. Now, I've had to take some Pepto-Bismol along the way and some sleepless nights, or however you want to say it. It's been tough, because we care. I tell our players all the time, man, if you don't care, it doesn't matter, And I know they care. I know the heart that they have is there, and will be there for the next guy. So hopefully, I think everybody else will agree. I think probably why it took so long for them to do what they did is because we've done some really good things. I think that people recognize that, and that'll never be taken away. And I've never done anything in any way to harm this university. We've never broken any. I told my guys all the time, NCAA rules. I'm just never going to do that. And I just always believe in doing things the right way the first time, and this unfortunately didn't work out, but I know my next opportunity, I know the players, the coaches, and their next opportunity will be better because of it.
Teams, you've turned things around before when you've had problems or anything. What was the difference this
I think,
time?
More than anything, overwhelmingly, the injuries had to our very good players. I think if I had it to do again in my first 2 or 3 years, I saw we were putting together stats and showing them to the powers that be. I don't know who all the powers that be, but to put together the information for Julie and administration and stuff. So during my time here, we're fourth in the SEC in number of players taken in the NFL draft. Fourth. And I think the number was 17 or 18 or whatever it was. But, 5 or 6 of those guys were early entrants, guys that, I just didn't foresee. I knew we were recruiting good players, but when I was at my last stop, I believe the only player I had to leave early was J.J. Watt. Pretty good, right? All those other ones we were able to, they retained, and they were 4th and 5th year players. We just don't have a lot of 4th or 5th year players. When I call the seniors up to have chow, there's 12, 13 guys, and not a lot of them are higher end players. So. That's probably my only, as I look back on it, I wish I would have signed more O linemen and D linemen of the quality that you need here.
Coach, you mentioned in your opening remarks that you were told that you were relieved of your duties while you were coming off the field. Were you physically coming off the field?
No, a little office right over here.
Okay, so it was
Julie
private. It wasn't saddle up to you and talk to you
brutal.
right away. So,
I've never been let go before. So
how long was the conversation?
Shameless. Shorter than the one we just had. I think that, Julie and I have known each other a long time, and she's the one that informed me. And I obviously I know that whatever thing it took me. I've always said this. When I took over that last job, I had prerequisite of being there for 2 years before I became the head coach. And I think when you have transition, a lot of times it takes a while for that head coach to learn how things work in the system that he's in. And I was in discovery mode year 2, year 3 here, and still in discovery mode in certain things. My only wish is I wish that the people that ultimately pulled this trigger, I wish I would have known who they were or been around them a little bit. I wish they could see how we work and how we do things and the emphasis and the entire product that we put out there, both on the field and off the field.
Just as a follow-up, I know it's only been a half an hour, but have any of your personal representatives been in touch, or has anybody contacted your people about?
No,
what
I haven't touched base with my representation.
So what's the game plan, Bret? What do you have in mind? What do you want to do?
I think my wife got some stuffing from Whole Foods, so she knows I like that for Thanksgiving. So that might be snack tonight. I think the biggest thing, I care about my players and my coaches. I'm going to meet with my coaches here in a little bit, try to give them any kind of information I can. Of course, I know they'll be in touch with the university here, what their situation, their status is. It's kind of unusual because, you got a live recruiting starts Sunday, and you got 3 weeks before a national signing date, which probably a lot of people estimate probably somewhere between 80 to 90% of kids will sign in this first signing period, just so that they're not left dangling in the wind for their respective school. So there's going to be a lot of hustle to get it. I think I'll encourage, especially the Arkansas kids, if they want to be Arkansas, they should stay with it. But, depends on what transpires within me, for me and my personal choices, that I definitely obviously want to coach again. I'd be blessed with whatever opportunities. I do know that the things that I've been a head coach 12 years. I went to bowl games 10 out of 12 years, so I didn't go this year, and I didn't go my first year here. Won championships, put a lot of players in the NFL. We do it with a great GPA. And my kids, obviously, I know Cole just had the thing, and Spring stole some socks at the bowl game, but our kids aren't bad people. They're not representing, anything but positives for Arkansas. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. I've never been in a situation.
So Julie told you out there that wasn't her call?
No, there's a little office over here, and she was just waiting for me in there. That's where I get changed. That's where when we're in this little makeshift transition during this year. Julie's one of them for me.
What's been the most rewarding aspect of your 5 years here?
Arkansas. I know that's a broad brush, but it's the people, it's the community, it's the care factor. I had about 19 cousins, some cousins that grew up in Little Rock, and their kids were here last night. I got to see them, so be around that. The relationships that I built in this room, the relationships I built in the community. It's just there's a lot of positives to Arkansas, and they need to be accentuated, not minimized. I do think that from a strictly head football coach at the University of Arkansas, there's a lot of positives to sell. You just got to make sure that you understand that to get it done, they got to go the right way. You got to build that roster. I felt like I was always just kind of chasing after we kind of hit with some of those guys going out early and key positions, and then we're paper thin at a couple positions here or there. It just felt like you're really chasing a roster of recruiting issues that never really got on top of it. The classes that remained when I first got here, and then obviously our first class, I think there's 7 or 8 guys now that are playing on Sundays, and those would be fifth-year seniors if we'd done it a little bit different, and obviously the results would be a little bit different. Thank you very much. God bless you guys.